Hi, folks. This is Bob Pjorn. I've been teaching for going towards 60 years now. I've taught over 8,000 or more people. Back a number of years ago, I decided to write an all-in-one guitar book. I called it The Complete Guitar Player. It's very hard to get to all the facts of beginner to advanced guitar playing in one book, but I tried to summarize the things that any good player, from a beginner up to a semi advanced, even professional player, would want to know. Over the years, my books got around. A lot of people said it was the best book they ever found, and occasionally I get requests about what are in the book. So I made this video to highlight everything in the book if I can, or at least give you an overview of the book. When it first begins, of course, if you're a beginner or you're an advanced player, you might want to bear with me for a few minutes, but I start at the very beginning with addressing questions people are always asking. What kind of guitar should I start with? What if I'm left-handed? What kind of pick should I use? How much should I practice? And then a few little editorials about things like attitude and so on. The basics of the guitar, the strings, the neck, and all the basic things you want to know. How to tune a guitar to a tuner, how to tune a guitar to a piano, changing strings, the best exercise you can do, one finger per fret semi chromatic scale. And all through the book, I put in things like great guitar players. I start off with Les Paul and give brief history. All the basic chords from the beginning that all the beginners should know, and exercises with them. Basic chords, playing chords from sheet music, how many times to strum each chord, the basics of tablature, the basics of fingerstyle playing, and a lot of fingerstyle patterns you can use in songs. And all through the book, I've interspersed chord progressions that are songs. Here's a simple thing with green sleeves, and addressing things about the root and fifth, all different kind of finger picking patterns. Here's some different things about playing different notes in the bass slash chords, they call them. I do intersperse certain songs. Sometimes I don't mention the name, but this is, for example, this is Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, all about strings, how to change strings, what gauge to buy, chord progressions to famous songs, the layout of the guitar, where all the notes are, what their names are, what they look like in notation. Then we get into the blues and or minor pentatonic scale, the so-called 5-chord or power chord, a bunch of different ways to play some great open chords, finger-picking patterns of open chords, all your basic bar chords, and combining them together in chord progressions to make progressions that are like songs. Again, things about guitar players, Chet Atkins. An introduction to the major scale. Here's some great rock and roll solos pre-1980. Learning to play by ear. All the basic chords. The pentatonic scale extended diagonally. The concept of tuning down a half step. All your 5 main ways to play the pentatonic scale, the so-called Chuck Berry shuffle rhythm, finding chords by ear, and a list of great songs that only have 1 or 2 or 3 chords, the 12-bar blues and explanation, the best ways to play all your major scales and all across the guitar, what a major scale is, an indication of major scales and letters, all your key signatures, a more advanced movable chords, a minor blues progression, the major pentatonic scale, an explanation of how it is also the major pentatonic scale, some more advanced chords, chord progressions. Here's a little thing about B.B. King, arpeggios, the diminished and augmented chord, finding chords by ear more advanced, how to find the 7 main chords in a key and what they are, the circle of fifths, moving licks around the circle of fifths to practice, movable dominant chords, more advanced chords like the 7 sharp 9, 7 flat 9, so on. A nice minor blues, changing keys, transposing from one key to another, how chords are constructed, the construction of all your major main chords, an explanation of modes and all your different modes, more advanced movable chords, and chord progressions to practice them with, all your minor, well, your 3 main minor scales, the natural, the harmonic, the melodic, some different ways to play them, the whole tone scale, the diminished scale, all your best arpeggios, the major, the minor, the 7th, major 7, so on. Some progressions to jam on. I have 14 different progressions when you get together with people to play on, what scale to use for them, rhythm changes, some different chord progressions, a glossary of terms. Here is, after this glossary, we have signs and abbreviations, some different essays I wrote about different concepts, great musicians you should know, some famous early guitar instrumentals starting in pre-1920s, moving right up into the 90s, different ways, sources of learning and method books, listening, the importance of listening, some great recordings, a list of great guitar players in all genres and what year they were born to give you some perspective of them, some great guitar recordings, building a collection of classical music. Here's some great classical suggestions. Who's the best guitar player in the world? A little essay I did. And the whole last part of the book is tablature and paper, staff paper, and so on.